Chapter O Canada, page 51 out of 62. Up by 9 a.m., I went directly to Irving to use the washroom and to take a coffee. A few local customers were already there. While I was preparing coffee, a man that heard me say that the lady at the counter that I had slept in my tent told the same lady that he was taking care of my coffee. I thanked him and he said to me, "You slept outside last night?" I replied, "Not outside, but in my tent, next to the skidoo trail, right on the other side of the road." Him and his buddies, there were like 3 or 4 of them, just shook their heads. After coffee, I went back to take down my tent. I did that as fast as my quickly freezing fingers let me do. I headed back in for another coffee. I waited until 10:40 and then left to go hitchhike. While I was walking, by 11 o'clock, so about 20 minutes, a man referenced 99, like, what's his name, Wayne Gretzky, picked me up until Parson Pound and dropped me off at the Sunrise Bakery. Taking a copy of the Western Star, as I was showing the waitress my face in the front page, I asked her, "Have you ever seen this man?" She answered me, "I believe that I just did it now." I had coffee from 11:55 to 12:45, and I left. Not too long after, Scott Tatchell referenced 100 and Devin Rumbold, one of his buddies, were going to Daniels Harbor. Scott was getting ready to start attending the electrical school, and Devin was in grade 12 and is also a fisherman. He told me of a hitchhiking story that I can't really retranscribe here. They dropped me off at the Bennett restaurant in Daniels Harbor, and I had another coffee before going back hitchhike at minus 18 degrees Celsius. Once back out, I walked half a kilometer, so I walked, in 7 minutes, when a man referenced 101 took me aboard his Ford pickup truck and dropped me off in Belburn. I walked another kilometer when Ernie McGrath, so about 15 minutes, referenced 102 offered me a ride to Bateau Barron. Ernie is a scaffold installer but unemployed at the time. He was going to check out his rabbit snares on Skidoo. Once dropped off, I started right back. A few moments later, Terence Mitchell-Moore and Mary's wife, reference 103, stopped. They were going like me to St. Barb. Terence is a fisherman and Mary is retired from a career as a postmaster in Green Island Cove. They dropped me off at the terminals at the Blanc-Sablon Ferry. Well, on the St. Barb side there. Thanks, Terence and Marie. It's 17:20. The ferry is at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. Having coffee in a restaurant at the Dockside Motel and Cottage, the waitress appeared with a turkey dinner plate offered by the staff. She just come by and she dropped a plate in front of me and said, I didn't order that, I don't have money. At 12, but the staff gave it to me. At 23:10, I was sitting in the lobby when Dave, I was sitting in a big armchair, was kind of going through my stuff there, was getting a little comfortable to be right there. So Dave, the night guy, told me, "Come, I got a place for you to sleep," and gave me the key of the room, number 105. After a fine night, I had coffee before taking the ferry at 10:30. The ferry ship was the MS Apollo. The loading started at 11:45. The crossing started at 12:10. Being winter and the Belle-Île's Detroit being narrow, there was lots of ice. So the Henry Larson, an Ocean and Fisheries Canada icebreaker, escorted us while opening up the way ahead of us. That was probably one of the crossings wherever I have ever crossed in a ferry ship that impressed me or entertained me the most. While I was watching both of the ship maneuvers, I started talking to a man. We went for a smoke at the back of the ship, and then he bought me a coffee at the ferry's cafeteria. We headed back to watch the maneuvers. The icebreaker would go half a kilometer to a kilometer ahead of us, pushing away the ice. The ferry would go ahead until it became prisoner because the ice comes back. There the Henry Larson backed up to us on our left side and would go ahead again. We would go ahead and the ice would come back, we'll get stuck, and the ice break came back and started all over. A true aquatic ballet, strangely choreographed. I had another coffee, did a Porto Simpson's sign, and got ready, mentally, to cross Labrador hitchhiking February. Wow, What an idea! I wonder whoever come up with that. We arrived in Blanc-Sablon, Quebec at 15:30. Before leaving the ship, I thanked the man that I had smoked a cigarette with and that bought me the coffee. I went off the boat and started to walk. It ain't warm, but it is very beautiful. After 10 minutes of walking, Trevor, reference 104, in his 2009 Chevrolet Silverado, immobilized himself, like he managed to stop, and picked me up. He recognized me. Trevor is the youngster that worked at the ferry cafeteria. He bought 2 coffee, and he's done for the day. He starts back tomorrow. Trevor has done lots of hitchhiking in Labrador and Newfoundland, but never in winter. Before dropping me off at the end of Pinware, he predicted he pulled out his crystal ball, and predicted 2 of my possible dreadful deaths. Hitchhiking in Labrador in winter. First, getting eaten by wolves, like more than one. Second, die frozen at minus 50 degrees Celsius in my tent. Well, I'm here, so I guess I didn't die frozen at minus 50, and I guess I didn't get eaten by wolves either. Going away a bit from Pinware, little traffic, very little. On the side of the roads in the snow, I saw paw prints that resembled the one of the wolves. I saw the man from the ferry, driving a truck at good speed. He'd I'm walking down and then zoom, and then zoom. I got picked up by Harold Weber, reference 106. 66 years old, he had hitchhiked a lot. In Vancouver is a fishing boat and cruise ship captain. Dropping me off at the gas station in Port O'Simpson, Harold entered with me and bought me a sandwich and coffee. The man that was fixing his coffee before me was Buddy from the ferry, the guy that passed me in the truck and everything. He said, I just got here. The guy just parked his truck and came in and started stirring his coffee, and I walk in. The last time he saw me was leaving. Harold made sure with the man that I get a ride at 6 a.m. I thanked and shook Harold's hand before he left. I talked a bit to the truck driver. His other truck doesn't have a sleeping berth, so the driver slept at the motel. Him slept right there, because he's got a sleeping berth. I got a ride, but at exactly 6 a.m., 0600 is gone. After I had finished my sandwich and coffee, thanks Harold, let's discover Port O'Simpson. First, a sleeping spot. I don't want to be too comfortable since I have to be at the truck at 6 a.m., so I won't set up my tent. As I walked, I met this lady and asked her if in Port O'Simpson there would be a homeless shelter. She said no, but there was a Pentecostal church and probably that it would be open. If there wasn't one, perhaps I could just sleep on the carpet in the entrance. She quickly explained me the way. Going in the indicated direction, I saw a far, long building with a cross on top. I headed there. I took the snowmobile trail that went right beside it. There's nobody, but there is a side door with stairs. Half covered and a lit light outside. Plan B. My searches brought me to the Pentecostal church. I went in. It was open, lit, carpeted, but I just didn't know. I heard voices down the stairs on my left. One came out of a room, climbed a few steps, and entered another room. After a few moments, she went back out and went back to the first one. I went down to investigate. In the bottom stairs, I approached the door, where women's voices emitted, and I knocked. A lady came open to me. There were 3 or 4 of them having just finished an activity. I explained them my case and exhorting well that I had to leave early for my 6 a.m. ride. One of the women told me I'm going to talk to the preacher. He lives just beside. She came back with a preacher. I explained him my story, but too bad. He couldn't do a thing for me. In the meantime, one of the ladies back from downstairs gave me a bag containing a ham sandwich, chocolate cookies, little cup cake, and she also gave me in my own hand a $10 bill. Thanks and God bless. I returned to Plan B. I spread my blanket on the balcony of the protected outside entrance and went to bed. I woke up early, up because there's a light there, right? And it's kind of enclosed. So the light warms up a little bit. You're enclosed, you're out of the wind. You just make sure that your bedding is good. I woke up early. Up I went to the gas station. I think that I saw a clock saying 4 o'clock. I went back for a walk. I met this youngster being stuck in the snowbank. He left running. I saw him back at the gas station. The guy, but he left. Whoom! And about like 15 minutes later, I'm back at the gas station. I gotta go up. And he fucking showed up. Anyway, he left running. I saw him back at the gas station. We went to see his aunt. I just live across the street. I said, oh, look at my aunt. And then we go to the street and it was there. I left again. I met his mom and boyfriend with the kid. They looked at the car, picked me up, dropped him off, and told him to go to bed. And then they brought me back at the truck by 5:50 in the truck. Yeah. And they gave me a bunch of cigarettes too, I do believe. He told me, did you sleep out? It's minus 40. I don't know. I was sleeping. It was minus 40 when I got in the truck, so I don't know. Anyway. Craig, reference 106, didn't know what to think of me, sleeping at minus 40, and to talk about it with a smile. He's a driver owner. The other truck with him is his own as well. He was going to Goose Bay, Happy Valley. As soon as we were on the road, the truck started to have electrical problems. He got the hold of his other driver ahead of him. He slowed down and we caught up with him. In fact, we kind of died. Our truck stopped. Craig called on his cell as a mechanic. The mechanic is back in Newfoundland. We tried what he told him to, but it didn't really work. So the three of us in the other truck went to a road maintenance garage warehouse on the highway for help. Craig called back his mechanic. We went back, the three of us, to the broken truck. Once back, it finally started. Slowly, we went back to the garage. Once there, Craig noticed an antifreeze leak. It's fucking leaking. He decided to put another clamp on the antifreeze hose. But to do that, he had to stop the truck. And the truck decided not to start again. Craig talked to a man that had stopped there and told me he's going to Goose Bay. I talked to him. I got a ride to Goose Bay. I thanked Craig, wishing him a bit of luck. And at 11 o'clock, I got on with Corey, reference 107. Corey is a supervisor for the Powerline Bush Road construction for the Muskrat Falls. Aboard his Chevrolet pickup truck, I slept a good hour. In Happy Valley, he bought me lunch at Tim, and before leaving, he gave me a brand new pack of smokes and a $10 bill. Thanks for everything, Corey. At Tim, I talked to a man that told me to go and see at Friendship Center. Big Metis, it should work. And maybe they'll be able to help me for tonight. The man's reference 108 drove me to the center. I met with a few people. They called a government agency and I went there by foot. The agency is the Department for Advanced Education and Skill. There I met with Marjorie Malloy. Very nice. She organized for me a room for the night and a $20 food voucher at the Goose Bay Labrador Inn. So I left for the Labrador Inn. Super greeting and a very good room. After summer, I did for the clients only free laundry. Almost everything that I had an urgent need to meat, soap, and water. Yes, sir. After breakfast, I went to a second-hand store, and with my last dollars, I bought a super nice pair of winter boots and others. Now I am ready. I like a big pair of boots, man. It's like for, I don't know, man, the people do some outdoor stuff like minus 60. With like the inlay in the sole that you can pull out is like $150, man. This by itself, strap, if it's dry, minus 25, it should be fine. Now I am ready for the rest of my road. Before going out to hitch, I watch the weather forecast. Sunny, minus 26, wind factor, minus 40.